This is POL242, 2013, homework assignment number 3, desirability of Verizon in Canada. With the few telecommunications giants like Rogers, Bell, and Telus imposing monopoly over Canada, a large company like Verizon could possibly destabilize the system. This could lead to lower rates and better service for Canadians. However, some argue this would result in job losses and U.S. surveillance over Canadian citizens. My question is, do Canadians support Verizon entering Canada, and why? I'll be using Forum Research 2013 study for my data with a sample size of 1,189. I'll use Chromebox Alpha to determine the reliability of my indicators and Kendall's Tau B as a measure of association for my ordinal cross tabulations. I'll use chi-square to assess statistical significance and test for sampling error, as well as ANOVA to analyze for data errors and disprove the null hypothesis. The reliability analysis shows that Chromebox Alpha is 0.83, greater than the accepted reliability of 0.60. This shows that the indicators that I are measuring the same concept. There is a significant difference between the measures of central tendency and distribution between my raw and recoded dependent variable. The recoded index shows a mean of 2.4. This means that most Canadians do in fact support Verizon entering Canada. The first independent variable I've chosen is how conservative a person's views are. My hypothesis is the more conservative a person is, the more they'll desire Verizon to enter Canada. This is because conservative, right-wing people typically support competitive markets. My second independent variable is Verizon entering Canada will lead to lost jobs for Canadians. My hypothesis is the more a person agrees that Verizon will cause job losses for Canadians, the less likely they'll support Verizon entering Canada. My third independent variable is concern of U.S. surveillance. My hypothesis is the greater a person is concerned over U.S. surveillance of Canadians, the less likely they will support Verizon entering Canada. The indicator I used for my first independent variable is how conservative a respondent is based on what party they chose to vote for. I recoded the data from least conservative to most conservative. Kendall's Tau B is 0.1011. This shows a positive relationship between accepting Verizon and holding conservative views. However, this relationship is very weak. The Pearson statistical significance is 0.0457. This is an acceptable probability and means the relationship is not likely due to chance. The ANOVA F probability is 0.0165. This is less than 0.05, thus the null hypothesis can be rejected. The mean shows that the more conservative one is, the more likely they are going to support Verizon entering Canada. The Chef's test shows that there is a significant difference between most conservative against moderately and least conservative people. The second independent variable is fear of job loss. The Tau B is negative 0.33. This shows a strong negative relationship. Therefore, the less a person thinks Verizon will cause job loss, the more likely they would support Verizon entering Canada. The Pearson value is 0.000. This demonstrates the relationship is unlikely due to sampling error. The F probability shows that the mean differences are unlikely due to sampling error. The mean demonstrates that the lower the concern over job loss, the more likely a person is to support Verizon. The Chef test shows that high fear of job loss is significantly different from low and medium fear and means that these people are least likely to want Verizon in Canada. The third independent variable is fear of the U.S. surveillance. The Tau B is negative 0.18327. This shows a weak negative relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable. The Pearson test shows that the relationship is unlikely due to sampling error, and the F probability of ANOVA being 0.000 means the differences between the means are unlikely due to sampling error as well. The mean shows that the lower the fear of U.S. surveillance, the most likely the person is to support Verizon. And similarly to the fear of job loss, the Chef test shows high fear of U.S. surveillance is significantly different from medium and low fear of surveillance. For the independent variable, although the hypothesis is rejected, the relationship is not due to chance. The Tau B is far too weak to show a meaningful relationship between conservatism and desire for Verizon to enter Canada. The second independent variable shows a strong negative relationship, and this relationship is unlikely due to chance with the null hypothesis rejected. The third independent variable demonstrates a negative, weak relationship between fear of U.S. surveillance and the desire for a rise in Central Canada. The concern over surveillance and conservatism related to the dependent variable show very weak relationships. However, the concern over job loss demonstrates that it is a significant factor in determining whether Canadians support